Hello everyone, Person87 here back with more Bloons TD Battles 2. Update 1.04 came out kind of unexpectedly. NK didn't even post an update log on their subreddit, although they have been, I guess, posting what they were going to do with the update without actually releasing it, so I guess that's fine. Anyways, I'm back at again with Gwen, Ice, NG Village, or not Village, Wizard, because, well, this is really the only strat I have tier 3s and tier 4s unlocked for. Well, not really tier 4s, but I really only have 2 unlocked. Anyways, this is pretty much my main strat and the only one I can really use at this point, because at the end of the video, I ended up getting to Moab Pit, so I don't really think I can switch towers at the moment. Also, I got a new microphone. Tell me how it sounds. Anyways, you're going to be seeing a lot of Boomer starts this episode, I guess. Boomer just sort of became meta for starting, which I guess makes sense when you think about it, because Glaive Ricochet is pretty much meant for battles. It's actually perfect for battles. I really can't think of a better tower for starting. So the strat I'm going for hasn't changed. It is a 0-1-1 Ice into Gwen, and I rush a 0-1-2 as fast as possible. As 0-1-2 in base game was pretty good. It is perfect for stalling rounds. Arctic Wind does have a use, although it is just kind of, I guess, limited. Arctic Wind's just kind of used as a backup, just in case Bloons are leaking just a little bit, not they're getting past your towers a bit. So Arctic Wind allows your towers to, I guess, have more time to pop Bloons, since Arctic Wind slows down every Bloon in range. But if you are going to go Arctic Wind, all your towers need to be able to hit frozen Bloons, so I guess it may not be that good. Now in this video here, we'll be seeing some Bloon Trap action, as well as some round 13 Regen Rainbow Rush, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail. Round 13 Regen Rainbow Rush things are incredibly strong, and pretty much counter most towers, especially Tack Shooter. If round 13 Regen Rainbow Rushes doesn't work, I'm not sure what round Group Ceramics come, but Group Ceramics Regen, perfect against Tack Shooters, because the nerf to Pierce that they got pretty much makes them a lot worse than they were before. Now the only downside about the strategy I'm using right now is that late game is kind of bad, if I'm being honest. Really the only late game options you have for towers is being Super Brittle, Icicle Impale, all tier 5 wizards, Ultra Boost, and that's in Sentry Champion. That's really about it. XXL Trap might be kinda useful for catching leaks, but I mean XXL Trap is 64k in regular BTD6, and I can imagine they didn't nerf the price too much, so yeah, XXL Trap doesn't really have much of a use. Maybe it's just if I can afford another tier 5, I'd go for it. But as you can see in the video, Engineer Bloon Trap only really gives $700 when the trap is full. $700 may seem like a lot, but considering Sniper Supply Drop gives 2k and the cooldown's like 45 seconds, 30 seconds, yeah, you know, it's not as good as you'd like it to be. Also, if your opponent stops sending eco, that really hampers your income, as of course you do want to put your Bloon Trap right next to where the entrance of where the eco Bloons are coming from, so you can maximize and get the most out of it. But if your opponent decides to stop sending it, which is something that has happened to me, opponents sometimes just stop sending eco as soon as I get Bloon Trap, which really hampers my income. Ideally, you can afford, or not ideally, you can actually afford both Bloon Trap and Shimmer before round 12, which is perfect. You know, you can get all that money from the camo Rainbow Rush, but that's only if your opponent isn't really being aggressive. Something with this strat is that early game is kind of, it's not really bad, but it could be better. That's the best way I can describe it. So you can die to early game rushes. White Bloons can screw you over. Round 5 whites will force you to spend a lot more money than you need to just to pop the white Bloons. Double gun, a 103 double gun NG can easily beat counter round 5, although that is a bit expensive to, to spend on round 5. So really, when you be able to afford Bloon Trap really does depend on when your opponent, how aggressive your opponent is. Anyways, as you can see here, Lily doesn't have any good grouped rainbow camo detection, or popping power. Druid, Lightning Druid causes a huge regrow farm. Ricochet, also not very good against grouped rainbows, so it's a very easy win. So I will say, if you are struggling against people going boomer or something else like that, like round 13 regen rainbows are pretty easy. It's a really easy way to counter that, as they'll pretty much have to get like multiple more glaives in order to defend. Now this next match is in White Wasteland. I got here pretty quickly as I was on a win streak and I just kept winning multiple matches in a row. So by the end of the recording session I ended up getting to like 38 trophies, 2 away from not Moab Pit, Lead Dungeon. Now of course the start of this strategy is basically the same. It is a rush a 012 as fast as possible into Gwen. And here you can actually see the attack nerf before the nerf to extra pierce. You can see that attack was easily able to defend group reds, but now attack actually leaves strays, so he actually has to get a sprayer in order to like fully keep up with the grouped reds. You know, it's actually like kind of crazy to think that, you know, like how much like all NK did was just remove 1 pierce from like the bottom cross path, and like already you can see that like it makes a big difference. Kind of feel bad for tac mains now, because now tac shooter's just kind of a meh tower. You know, ceramic and regen ceramics and regen rainbow rushes really just crush tac shooter. Also, tac zone got its lead popping power removed, like it did in BTD6. I was actually kind of surprised when I read that in the patch notes. I was just kind of thinking to myself, so like tac zone could already hit lead? You know, like, it makes me wonder now, it's like, oh, so does Glaive Lord hit lead still? Although, I mean, I guess with bottom path, you know, Glaive Lord can hit lead, but, like, you could go 5-2-0 Glaive Lord and it would hit lead. Now here you can actually see Quincy's golden bow along with the trail projectiles. Me personally, there's not really too much of a big difference to really notice. Quincy's bow looks more yellow than really gold, even though I guess gold is technically like a shiny gold. Anyways, I start setting up my balloon trap, and my opponent is going boat, you know, which is kind of interesting because I think this is probably the worst map to actually have water towers on, I guess except for sub since it has advanced intel. But like really, like the place you have water in is like very far down and far away from the eco path that I wouldn't really consider using water towers here, but he's probably forced to since, you know, XP is kind of bad. And as you can see, my towers are struggling just against like greens, which is kind of sad just thinking about it. Anyways, I've like sort of placed down my wizard to see if I could put it there, because that's where I want to put my shimmer for round 12. Now, like I said earlier, I personally think it's better to go for a grouped blue still to save for balloon trap, as grouped greens kind of suck out your income and takes a little bit of a time to actually get balloon trap. So like if you're going for balloon trap, I think it's more effective to send grouped blues until you can actually get balloon trap, then you can switch over to green. Now I was thinking, you know, it's kind of risky going this strat, seeing as, you know, it is round 7 and I still don't have any camo detection, and I'm still sort of far off from balloon trap. Now I do think this strat does get a lot easier once you get embrittlement, since embrittlement can detect camo. Now my opponent starts sending yellows. I'm assuming it is to pressure me. Now I guess I fell for the pressure and I went for Arctic Wind. As you can see, Arctic Wind did sort of make a difference here, as, you know, Arctic Wind slowed down all balloons in rain. Now because I had to get Arctic Wind and I thought it would be dumb to, you know, to actually sell sell Arctic Wind in order to afford balloon trap, I decided to just start getting my shimmer. I actually went for a cleansing foam first because I'm greedy. Even though like cleansing foam is like a worse D camo, and cleansing foam didn't even put it in the right spot anyways, which is just kind of like a slap in the face. Unfortunately, in the 1.04 patch, they didn't bring over the targeting change from 29.0, which is a shame. I tried seeing if there's any good spots I can put my shimmer. The closest I could put it to the track without being too far back was over by the Arctic Wind, which of course isn't ideal, but I guess it's better than nothing, as cleansing foam is kind of a unreliable D-camo option, as the foam quickly runs out. Now, you know, it is kind of silly to think about it, but late game you kind of want to overclock, like the overclock, like to have overclock, you know, overclock a cleansing foam. As late game, you know, I'm pretty sure cleansing foam removes camo and lead properties, which basically just makes DDTs a faster and stronger Moab. which is actually quite nice, but of course cleansing foam can't keep up with, like, you know, people sending BFB rushes, or not BFB, DT rushes. Now my opponent gets a Monkey Pirates, which was like a really bad mistake, as Monkey Pirates sucks against Regen Bloons. Anyways, I was saving up a bit more cash and even sold my cleansing foam to actually afford the rush. You know, if he would gotten overdrive, maybe he would have won, but it was too little too late, and he also boosted way too late. Now just looking at the XP mounts, they do seem sort of better than when they were before, but it really does seem like you do need VIP just to actually make some decent gains. Anyways, we got Tyler Price coming in here with Cyber Quincy, which is just kind of interesting. I do know that hero alts, you know, are sort of different, or slightly different from the non-skin counterparts. And Tyler decides to use Heli, which is a bit interesting. This is the first time I've encountered someone actually who uses Heli. I've still yet to encounter someone who uses glue or farms. That'll be a day, you know, seeing one of those two. Although just thinking about it, Heli seems more of like a late game tower, as, you know, Apache Dart ship is a bit too expensive to really be using for early game. It would probably be a decent mid game option, but that's really the only it. Comanche defense, probably maybe like the shove you would get. Middle path, really only support Chinook would only really be useful. Marine, maybe, but like I wouldn't really spend, you know, like 30k just to get Marine. And of course Apache Prime is Apache Prime, but I'm assuming Apache Prime still sucks versus DDTs, so yeah, Heli in my eyes is more of a late game tower, but it is nice that you can, you know, sort of start with it. But Heli does seem to be defending these grouped reds pretty nicely, so can't really complain too much. Now, when I was first playing, I was thinking to myself, you know, maybe this guy only has tier 2 Heli's unlocked, so he's probably grinding XP for it. But later on in the video, you'll see he actually doesn't. He has up to tier 3s unlocked. That much is guaranteed. Now, because I wasn't really paying any attention, I forgot to send out grouped blues. I started like in the middle of round 4, which sucks, as it really does rip my eco. Now Tyler starts pressuring me with some pinks, which is an interesting choice, as, you know, double gun is pretty good against fast balloons since it, you know, has pin, and of course, you know, if double gun can't pop the pinks, it leaves enough, slows down the balloons enough to where ice can easily handle them, assuming you have 012. Now him placing down a second helipad made me think, you know, yeah, this guy only has tier 2s, helipads unlocked, as I wouldn't really get a second helipad, instead just go for razor rotors. Now he starts sending whites to pressure me, which actually gets me to use Gwendolyn's cocktail until I get second engineer down. As you know, as you can see, some whites are getting through, and I really wasn't sure if Gwendolyn could handle the whites by herself. Yeah, for those who are curious, you know, early game fast balloons really, you know, do screw with this strategy a lot, and it forces your opponent to spend more money on defense, which of course delays balloon trap, which is what you want to do generally with this strategy, is delay your opponent from getting balloon trap, as delay as much as possible. Now, of course, because the setback, you know, it is struggle to actually afford balloon trap now, but it is pretty smart. You know, Tyler does have some knowledge if he is sending, you know, white balloons at this stage. So anyways, because I realized, you know, I won't be able to afford balloon trap now, I just decided to start working on my shimmer. Now I saw Tyler got a middle path heli, so which is pretty good for camo rushes. That's probably the reason why he got it. I was thinking about doing a round 12 purple rush, but I'm kind of bored of doing that, if I am being honest. So I decided to kill him with the Regen rainbows. But you know, in my back of my mind, I was thinking to myself, you know, a single 2-2-0 heli will not be enough to defend round 12 purple rushes. Now, for whatever reason, Tyler switches to regrow whites. Not really sure why, as he is wasting money and he doesn't gain anything from it, as really I'm easily able to defend those. So if you are going to go heli for a strategy that you're thinking of, you know, you are going to have to micro heli, since you are going to want to get a 3-2-0 most of the time, just because camo balloons exist, unless you want to get a camo village, but that's unnecessarily expensive for just like simple camo rushes that razor rotors can easily handle, I'm assuming. I haven't used it yet. Now as you can see, Tyler goes for a downdraft, which is a very interesting choice in tower. As of course downdraft like sucks against regen Bloons, it's the king of creating Rico farms. So anyways, Tyler sends some leads, which made me realize that my lead detection is kind of awful, as it's really only Gwendolyn and her heated up. I installed the Ice Monkey in the back for Ice Shards, because of course Ice Shards is very good when it comes to defending these type of Bloons. Now Tyler ends up sending group whites, which makes me actually use the cocktail until I can actually afford Ice Shards. If I gotten it up a bit earlier, I probably would have could have not used an ability, but it's fine. Now Tyler uses the Gwendolyn fire emote, unknowing what's gonna happen to him next round. As really, I wouldn't have gotten downdraft. He maybe could have like survived a bit longer, but the round 13 Regen Rainbow Rush is just too strong, and made even worse by the fact that he got downdraft. And it's on pursuit as well. I ended up selling my engineer for this rush, and as you can see, it's creating an awful Rego farm, which it just shows the power of downdraft. If I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't even have gotten downdraft. I probably would have rushed Apache like straight up. As really, that's really the only path you really want to go for going for LE. Comanche defense doesn't really seem like that good to me. Comanche defense and Comanche commander, we're kind of meh in BTD 6, and I can't really imagine they'll be too much better in, battles too. Anyways, I'm gonna end the video here. Next time I upload this game, we'll probably have like all tier 4s. That's gonna be my goal, as I'm gonna play this a lot. Even though, the XP is kind of meh at right now, I guess it is still like a good change. The next tier 4 ice, I'm gonna go for Snowstorm just to counter round 26. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing or dropping a like, or don't.